All for the gram. Love the gram.
Oh, wait.
On this episode of Primal Cuts, we will be interviewing Chef Andy Altomare. Hi.
Hey, Hi, Harrison. How are you?
Good. Sorry I'm late.
No, that's okay.
So you're the vice manager of the Buffalo Bills Stadium?
Yeah, so if you envision going to a football game, I'm responsible for all the food and beverage and retail that people buy there. So that's my job.
Cool. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, we feed about 70,000 people in about 2 hours. So it's a lot of stuff, a lot of food, a lot of beverage, a lot of everything in a short period of time.
Yeah.
So that's my job. Yep.
So I'm going to ask you some questions. And the first question is, when and why did you decide to become a chef?
That's a good question. I think I decided at a young age. My late grandmother on my father's side, I've always heard good stories about her having Sunday dinners. It was a traditional Italian family. I never met her. Unfortunately, she passed before I was born. But she was my main motivator, I think, to go into and understand and like food. My mother was also a very work from home or stay at home mom and did a lot of cooking from scratch. So I always liked it. And then when I was in high school, I started working at a local cheesesteak shop in Philadelphia called Barry's. I enjoyed it. And, at that age, I just wanted to make some money and fast cash. And, I started working for a catering company. Liked it and pursued it for college, and kind of the rest is history. I just continue to grow with it and really enjoy it.
Cool. So you progressed.
Mm-hmm.
The second question is, what is your favorite thing to eat? That's
a tough one because there's a lot of things that I like. But I think it goes back to my roots again, talking about that Italian piece. My family makes homemade meatballs and tomato sauce and things like that. I think those are some of my favorite comfort go-to foods. When I'm home in Philadelphia, I live in Buffalo now. Those are the things I like to go and have.
Yeah, I like linguine with clams.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm. What is your favorite dish to cook?
That's probably the toughest question for any chef, right? Because I think chefs like to get into different things and try different things. Some chefs like to stay with, certain cuisines or certain styles of food. I like to go across the gambit and try different things. So, when I cook, particularly at home, I just like to just not make a decision. I just kind of rifle through the fridge or rifle through the store and decide what I want to make and just kind of go from there. So I like kind of everything.
Cool. What is your favorite ingredient?
My favorite ingredient?
Mm-hmm.
I think I like thyme, because I think thyme is one of those things that, people, they think they understand it, but they don't. And it's one of those flavors that you can enhance into many different foods. And it gives a unique flavor that people try to pinpoint what they think it is. It excites the palate, but they can't pinpoint it. And that's one of the things I like about thyme. You can use it on vegetables and proteins and things of that nature.
Yeah, I have thyme growing outside right now.
Mm-hmm. It keeps growing, gets bigger and bigger. Yeah, I do too.
We have some parsley too. So
fun.
What was the best meal you've had ever prepared for you by another chef?
That's a very tough one too. One of the restaurants I like to go, one of my friends, Mike Delone, is a chef in Philadelphia. I think he's one of the better chefs that I know. And he works in some different Italian restaurants down in South Philadelphia. And I always enjoy going to his restaurants when I'm in town, and he just kind of whips things up, and it makes really, really good food, really great Italian foods.
Cool. The next question is, what chef do you admire most?
That's tough too, because I've come across many chefs throughout my career. But I think that Roland Hennon was my corporate chef when I work for a company called Delaware North right now, and he recently retired, and I didn't have a whole lot of exposure with him. But I've read his books and I have worked with him, and he is a certified master chef. He's actually Thomas Keller's mentor. So I think he's he has a lot of great backgrounds in things with the Culinary Olympics and things of that nature, and he's a really really great person to know.
Thomas Keller's mentor?
He was. Yep.
Wow.
He was our corporate chef. Yep, for many years.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The next question is, what is your favorite cookbook?
I have a gazillion cookbooks, but I'll be honest with you, I don't really look into them. I haven't really used them very much. Coming into the age of the internet, you always had a plethora of different websites to look up different recipes and see what things are doing. I like to stay on trend with things and what things are happening out there. From an industry standpoint, it's extremely important. But I love the industry magazines, and Food and Wine is probably my favorite one. I think they come up with very good seasonal flavors, whether it's food or beverage, and I've used a lot of those in my influences, even in menu writing when I was a chef.
Yeah, Food and Wine magazines. I like them too.
Yeah.
What is your favorite cheap eat?
I think I got to stick with a cheesesteak, right? Home roots in Philadelphia. So
Pat's or Geno's?
Neither. No, I can't go to any of those. So, I like Tony Luke's. Tony Luke's is good. I like D'Alessandro's in Roxborough. That's hometown for me. But yeah, no Pat's and Geno's.
I like Pat's better than Geno's.
Do you?
It's dirtier. A lot dirtier.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's better. If you weren't a chef, what would you do as a career?
That's a tough one. I think the decision on that can change throughout life. And I think that when I was younger, when I was becoming a chef, a lot of people where I'm from, it's you follow in the footsteps of sometimes your parents. And my father was a machinist, hands-on work, skilled labor type of work. And so maybe I would have wanted into something like that, or I wanted to become an electrician. And in my later years, I probably, I like finance. I like getting into those type of things and scenario planning. So, I think one of those type of areas of what I would get into.
Yeah. Being an electrician kind of scares me because I was like, what happens if I get shocked?
It can give you a zing, right? So, but
yeah.
You got to try it sometimes.
What is your favorite cooking trick or technique?
I think, I think my favorite cooking technique would probably be the proper marinating of meats, right? Because I think that's what infuses flavor, breaks down tissue, makes the meats tender. And I think it's oversought sometimes by people if they don't understand that. And I think that's the difference between a great piece of meat and a good piece of meat, or maybe not a good piece of meat.
Yeah. I like marinated like meat, but if you can't really taste the marinade, like say like they brush on like a little marinade, I don't know, maybe a mix of like some, I don't know, barbecue seasoning, and I can't taste it, I'm like, what a waste.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you got to let it sit for a few days and let it get into the meats and let it break down the muscle, right? So that it's also fork tender and, a lot easier to chew.
Yeah.
Especially this time of year when you're grilling meats, right? Especially that.
Do you have a guilty pleasure, or is it a cheesesteak?
That's probably the guilty pleasure, right? Goes along the lines of those cheap beats. So, yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah. My guilty pleasure is Cheetos because Cheetos are amazing.
They are. My daughter loves them.
I wish I could have some in my pantry right now, but I don't. Who should I interview next?
So for the next chef?
Yeah.
I could do you want me to nominate somebody? I could nominate my friend Mike Delone, the guy who I was talking about earlier. I think he'd be a fun person to interview.
Cool.
He's a great restaurant chef and a great chef. So
cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and I hope you are safe and healthy in this quarantine.
You too, Harrison. Thank you. Have a great day.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.